Hare Krishna. Thanks all for joining. So now we are in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So till now we have covered all the foundational concepts. Hope everyone gone through that, and I will send the Kahoot the quizzes like till six chapters, so you can go through and get revised. Like okay, you are able to revise in a better manner. Um, so, in a very quick gist, like we will cover the first chapter. Name is called "Observing the Armies in the Battlefield of Kurukshetra," where Arjuna been put into the dilemma state. He's saying like in this five reasons not to fight: compassion, enjoyment, fear of sinful reaction, and the destruction of family tradition. Then he's unable to take any decision. So, on that basis, Krishna comes into his rescue. Like, okay, he's instructing the Bhagavad Gita to him, where he is he's talking about initially like the Sankhya philosophy, where the difference between body and soul, 30 characteristics of the soul being explained. Then he's talking about the Karma Kanda, which is okay, do your duty as Kshatriya, you have to do your duty. Then you will get the result, either enjoy or suffer with those results. Okay, then he's talking about little elevating to nishkama karma yoga or buddhi yoga, where you do the work but surrender those results to the supreme. By doing that, like you will not have any sinful reaction, and you don't need to take any birth in this material world. Okay, you will get away from this birth and death cycle. Okay, then um, immediately, like okay, who's asking? Krishna, sorry, Arjuna is asking, like, what are the symptoms of the self-realized soul? Then immediately, Krishna says, okay, he will be like a free from the desire of like a enjoying the senses. Then he will have a steady mind, and he will have a taste for devotional service, and he will be able to control his senses. Okay, he's able to. Um, he will not differentiate between good and bad, or like the heat and cold, etc., etc. That also been explained by Krishna. Then he says, okay, one who is not connected to the Supreme or not doing devotion service, they will not be able to have a steady mind. Since they don't have the steady mind, they will not have the peace, and they will not have the happiness also. So this is how the whole thing been explained. Okay. Then the third chapter is called Karma Yoga. So where Krishna says, in the Karma Yoga, initially Arjuna is asking why you are engaging me in this ghastly warfare. Okay, if you think renunciation is better, what Arjuna thinks like a renunciation of the work, but Krishna says it is not renunciation of the work; it is a renunciation in the work. So if we do work and we get karma, for that karma, like we have to suffer or we have to enjoy in this material world. So then Arjuna is thinking, okay, if I do the work, then only I will get karma. So let me not do the work. That is what his understanding of sannyasa or renunciation. But Krishna says, no, 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 it is not renunciation of the work. He is not renunciating the work, okay? He's saying renunciation in the work, okay? You do the work, then you will get the result. That result surrender to Krishna. Okay, don't have the attachment to that result. So that is what he meant by the renunciation. Okay, in that manner, Krishna says, okay, both are equal, but the devotional service is better because there is no work assigned to me either to Krishna, but still he is working to set the right example for the future generation. So that is how he is talking about all the 12 Mahajans, correct? King Janaka. Who is King Janaka?
Mata Sita's father.
Yeah, Mother Sita's father. Okay, so he was considered as like the supreme king who did like his kingdom in a very perfect manner. He was ruling the kingdom in a perfect manner. So likewise, like all the Mahajans were there who did their work perfectly and set the example for the future generation. So that is how he said. Like then he's talking about Varna Shadharma. What is Varna and Ashrama? Like Varna means Brahmana, Satriya, Shudra, and Vaishya. And ashrama means like Grahastha, Brahmachari, Sannyasi, and Vanaprastha. So all these four Varna and four ashrama like been explained, and what are the dedicated duties for each one of them. And then he's talking about the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So 2.7 Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, correct? Like from the friendly form to the disciple who is surrendering to the master, correct? So Karpanya dosho pagata swabhavaha prachami tvam dharma samuda chetasaga yashreyashan nishitam prugidan me sisyaste agamsadi mam tvam prapannam. So I am surrendering unto you, like please guide me, because he is unable to take any decision. So on that basis, like now Krishna says for that 2.7, he is answering in 3.30. He is telling, okay, without any self motivation, without any envy, without any lethargy, have my follow my teachings faithfully. Please stand up and fight. Okay, by doing that, you will not have any sinful reaction. So he's saying मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यास अध्यात्म चेतसः निरासिर निर्ममो भूत्वा युद्धयस विगत ज्वर. Okay, so you just stand up and fight, then you will be able to get out from this like a indecision state. Then Arjuna is asking why we are engaged in this material world, knowing all these things, but still we are doing the sinful reaction. Why we are doing that? So then Krishna says it is lust only, Arjuna. So lust is nothing but, okay, it is not only the sexual lust, okay. Anything which is not connected to Krishna, if we are trying to achieve, that becomes lust, okay. So then if the lust is fulfilled, then it becomes greed. We have seen so many examples, correct? Now I have iPhone 7, then the new release comes like, hey, I want iPhone 10 or like a 15 or whatever new thing. So if the lust is fulfilled, then it becomes greed. If the lust is unfulfilled, then it becomes anger. If I am not getting that phone, I will become angry, correct? Like, hey, so that is how three gateways to hell is lust, greed, and anger. Okay. So these three things, lust and greed and anger. So if the lust is fulfilled, it becomes greed. If the lust is unfulfilled, it becomes angry. Angry. Okay, we become angry. So these three are like a gateways to hell. What are the sitting places like of lust, greed, and anger? It is mind, our senses, our mind, our intelligence. Okay, all these are covering the soul's knowledge. Are we body or are we the soul?
Soul, Prabhuji.
We are the soul or we have the soul?
We are the soul.
We are the soul. Okay, very good. Okay. So that has to be a right understanding. So we are the soul, and we should think that, okay, I am not the body, I am the soul. Okay. That is what been covered by Krishna in the second chapter in the
Where
Sankhya
he
philosophy.
says,
Huh?
yeah, I think it is one of the verses where Krishna tells Arjuna, it is like why I should kill my own relatives and everything. He says they are already fallen souls. It is like saving the clothes of a sinking person.
Exactly. Very good, Margie. Like, yeah, very nice. So, if I am trying to beautify my body, if I am trying to like, okay, take care of only my body, then I am just like, okay, as if a sinking person, I am just trying to give him a cloth, or like I am trying to pull him like, okay, by the cloth, or I'm not trying to really save him, correct? If I want to save him, I need to pull his hair to uplift from the sinking position. So that is what like we should never, okay, bodily thing we have to maintain so that we can do the devotion service, such as, okay, we need to take care of our body we need to take care of like okay the basic necessities to maintain the body. That doesn't mean that okay I don't care about my body, I will not take care of my health, like that will then the health will deteriorate and we will never be able to do the devotion service. So bodily thing in terms of basic necessities we need to take care, but the predominant time like okay, the most of the time we have to consider like a, how I can uplift my soul from this material world to the spiritual world. So that has to be our motive. Okay, because this material world is full of Maya, correct? It is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. What is Dukhalayam? It is Alayam means like a place. Dukhalayam means it is place of miseries, all miseries. Like no one can be ever happy in this material world. So the Dukhalayam, it is Ashashvatam. Shashvatam means permanent, but Ashashvatam means nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary here. So the reason we can never be happy ever in this material world because everything is temporary. Your sadness also have a temporary position, and your happiness also having a temporary position. Whatever we define happiness like that is not the real happiness. The real bliss or happiness is serving the Lord in the Goloka Vrindavan, in the topmost realm where we don't have any time, we don't have any temporary things, everything is permanent. That has to be understood. See, for example, I will tell like, okay, the happiness and the bliss, like okay, in a real manner. So, one guy is very, very hungry, correct? To him, if you give a piece of bread, that becomes amrit, correct? He don't want like the biryani or like he don't want the very royal food. He just want a piece of bread to just fulfill his hunger. To him, that time at that moment, the piece of bread becomes the amrit, correct? But if the guy is full in stomach, okay, he don't have any hunger in the stomach. To him, if you go on to give even a royal meal, okay, that doesn't become amrit, like okay, that becomes a normal food, or he don't want that particular thing. So that's what the happiness varies, depends upon the position where we are in, and it depends upon the situation where we are in, correct? So that is what we have to understand, the real happiness, the bliss. But when you are serving the Lord, even in this material world or in the spiritual world, okay, that happiness or that bliss will never fade away, will never deteriorate. That is what we need to understand. Because that happiness or bliss, like a where we get, what we get, like a while serving the Lord, is uncomparable with anything. Okay, so that is what we need to understand. So the senses, mind, intelligence, like all are the sitting places of the lust. So we need to transfer that lust into love towards the Lord by doing the devotion service. We need to engage our senses, mind, intelligence in performing the devotion service. So we are not asking like hey, you to not to listen the music. Okay, listen the music, the mundane the movie musics will fade. Okay, so for example, today you are listening one movie song, tomorrow a better song may come, or like a you may not feel that entertaining, correct? But when you are hearing the kirtan, or when you are hearing the devotional lectures, it is ever refreshing and ever like a fresh, because it is talking about uh, the supreme, and it is talking about like a how to fulfill the senses via the devotional service. So that is how like we need to engage our senses in doing the devotional service. By doing that, like we will be able to happily live in this material world, and we can go to the spiritual world. Okay, this is what the third chapter says. Then fourth chapter is called like a transcendental knowledge, so which is talking about like a Krishna says, this transcendental knowledge I explained to sun god Vivaswan from Vivaswan to Manu and from Manu to Ikshvaku. So over a period of time, like the disciplic succession being broken, so I appear millennium after millennium, like to re-establish this knowledge and to explain to the the future generation. So then Arjuna having a query, how can I understand? Because sun god Vivaswan is like, okay, old in age, you are talking to me now. Then Krishna says, both the appearance like which you and me taken, I remember all the living entities, past, present, and future. But Arjuna remembers only what he take in that particular life, correct? So that is how Krishna explaining his authority. It is not about like, okay, who uh, remembers a lot. Like Krishna knows what happened in the past, in the present, and in the future for every living entity. Okay, that is the beauty of Krishna. Okay, so then Krishna says, okay, that in this chapter only, the important thing comes like, okay, which is यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहं परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. So both the things comes like where wherever there is a decline in religion and a predominant irreligious practice, I appear millennium after millennium. So that is how he establishing. Then he says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So, what is Janma Karma Chame Divyam? So, we just need to remember the Lord's appearance and pastime. Pastimes are nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna does all his pastime, correct? Like in Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwaraka, Gokula, like all the places. So that is what been explained. Krishna and his devotees Leela. That is what the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you remember about Krishna's appearance and this pastimes, then you will go back to the spiritual world. You don't need to take birth in this material world. Okay. Then he says, okay, how he created Varnashra Dharma, and is talking about karma, akarma, and vikarma. Okay, karma is action. We do one activity and we get some benefit, or like some benefit in the manner benefit of what to say, either enjoyment or suffering. So that is what karma. Then akarma means you do the work but surrender those results to Lord. Then you will never get birth in this material
It's
world, and you will never get the
the
sinful reaction.
spin- sinful reactions.
Yeah. So that
The
is, yeah, that is what like
Yeah.
akarma. So we all have to perform akarma. Akarma means do your work and surrender the results to Lord. Okay, that is what akarma. Then vikarma. Vikarma means forbidden action, like what is not been prescribed in the shastra. So you should never do that particular thing. So that forbidden action, we should not do that. Okay, so that is what we have to be very very careful. Okay, we have to understand. So then he says, okay, you have to, what is a renunciation, or prescription, like a given as a sacrifice for each varna dharma. For the brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, like what are the sacrifice being explained, like so that has been explained in this chapter. Then Krishna moves to like the fifth chapter, where the karma yoga action in Krishna consciousness. Whatever question he asked in Arjuna asked in third chapter, again he's asking the same thing, whether to do the devotion service or to perform the what to say, like okay, the detached renunciation. So he says like both have a similar effect, but the time taken to do the devotion service and reach Lord is very very short compared to like a time taken to do the sannyasa or renunciation. So that is what we have seen, like a going from the floor 1 to 100 via the lift or via the steps. Via the lift means like okay, it is via devotion service. Via the steps means like if you are doing via the renunciation, or like okay, the jnana yoga. Okay. Then he's talking about like how to perform the Nishkama Karma Yoga, and he's touching about the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is like a Yama, Niyama, Asana, like a Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dana, Dharana, Samadhi state, like how to do the, how to achieve the Lord in doing the Ashtanga Yoga. What is the meaning of yoga?
Union.
Yeah, union
At
with
God,
anyone.
with
Uh,
God.
with
Yeah,
super.
connecting oneself to the supreme. Okay, that is what the meaning of yoga. Not like okay, I will do like any other yoga. No, nowadays like the guys are crazy about like thinking about their own yogas. That is not the real purpose of yoga. Yoga is like okay, they have to, we all have to like okay, link ourselves to the supreme. Our soul has to connect to the supreme. That is what the real thing of yoga. Then he is talking about peace formula, which is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sugurdam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Santim Richadi. Who is talking about like the Krishna is the supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and he is the beneficiary as well as benefactor of all. Then one who understands this, like he is the uh, he goes to the Lord like very easily, and he is the Suhurdam Sarva Bhutaram. He is the supreme friend of everyone. He is not only friend of the human being or like an animal. No, he is the supreme friend of all. Okay, so that is what Bhoktara Tapasam. Okay, that is a peace formula. Then chapter 6 is talking about the Dhyana Yoga, which is how to advance in the yoga through detached work. Then yoga Ruruda stage, like how to develop. Then further stages in the practice of yoga. Then how to control the mind. Sanchalam ki manaha Krishna. Because Arjuna says, I can control the wind, but I can't control my mind. So how to control that mind? Okay, he's talking about. Then the destination of unsuccessful yogi. Okay, so how uh, one starts to do that particular thing where he start like okay doing the yoga or doing the devotion service, but he is not successful in reaching the goloka or like the supreme abode in this life. What will happen to him, like that has been explained. Then who is the topmost yogi, so that also been will be explained. Prabhu, I will answer your question like you ping me what does city of nine gate means. So we will cover it like in the upcoming slide. Okay. So we have covered till 10 sloka of sixth chapter. So let's cover like okay what we are talking till now. We have covered advancing in yoga through detached work and yoga rudra stage, like how to give up the work, and we are covering like stages in the practice of yoga. So that is where like a yama niyama asana comes. So let's cover the 11th sloka. Till now, any question? As we mentioned, like a Bhagavad Gita has how many slokas?
700.
700.
700. Yes, exactly. In that 700, how the segregation been done? How many chapters?
18.
18.
18
18.
chapter. This 18 chapter, how it has been like segregated?
6 each.
Six
6
each.
each.
Okay. First six chapters are talking about
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. The middle six chapter are talking about
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. The last six chapters are talking about
Jnana Yoga.
Jnana.
Jnana Yoga. Okay, fine. Very good. Okay. So let's cover 6.11 to 12. So we are in the last chapter of Karma Yoga division, correct? Like, okay, then we will start the Bhakti Yoga, which is very, very good. Okay. So 11 to 12. Suchau dese pratistapya स्थिरम् आसनमात्मनः नाति उच्छ्रितं नाति नीचं शैलाज्ञिः कुशोत्तरम् तत्रैगाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यथा चित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्जात् योऽहम् आत्मविशूदये. The yoga practice, yogam, atma means the heart or like the soul. Vishuddhaye for clarifying. Okay. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. Any reason why they are asking to cover it with a deer skin? The seat should
Mm.
be neither too high or nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should sit on it in a very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. Yeah, anyone can say like why the pusa grass and the deer skin?
Um,
Insulation, no transfer of energy to the ground.
What, Prabhu?
No transfer of energy to the ground. Insulation.
Okay, there is one thing. Okay, then we can use any other, even a mat also. They didn't say, okay, use the yoga mat. They are saying,
In
okay,
the forest, you can't get the mat in the forest, right?
no, but there is
No,
a
no, no,
But in
no,
the
reason.
no. I
forest,
don't think so. I
Uh,
think the deer, this particular grass, that kusha grass, I think all these, like they are like the medicinal plants, how they have some certain qualities. I believe this particular grass has some special qualities which is not present in other types of grass probably, so
yeah,
that is why this particular thing is used, like even darba how they use during eclipses and all, because it has a purifying effect. So
yeah,
similarly, I would assume that this particular grass might have some more qualities which are suitable for concentration, or like maybe
yeah.
um,
So what?
possible,
What? Yeah,
but
correct,
I do
correct.
not really know why a deer skin specifically.
Yeah. The deer skin is specifically because, okay, while you are going to a secluded place, okay, while you are in the meditation, you don't want to get disturbed by other animals, correct? When you are putting a deer skin, the smell will prevent other insects or like animals to come near you, and they will not come and disturb you. For that reason only, like the kusa grass and the deer skin has been like a recommended by the Lord. Because while you are saying okay, it is a dead animal, then only like a you can see the deer skin, correct? So then
Mm.
during that time, like a no other animals or no other insects like a will come near you and will come disturb. Because the secluded place, obviously, like a during that time, it would be a, like a forest where no one comes and disturb you, correct? So that is
Mm.
what like the secluded place means. So that is what the uh, reason for deer skin and a soft cloth also. Like they are not asking like you to sit on the deer skin. So on top of it, like you put a soft cloth also, so that you will not be disturbed by like a other animal and other insect. Like obviously like in a secluded place, no human being will come, correct? But the animals are like all those other insects may come. So that has to be prevented. For that reason, like the deer skin been recommended. Okay, so then the seat should be neither too high or nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. Sacred places like that particular hole.
Prabhuji,
eh, Yes, hello.
deer skin is like promoting to kill the animal, na?
No, no,
So
it is.
all the people who are doing meditation or they will not get deer skin because it's not available.
Yeah,
So
bro.
that means you
Yeah,
should kill a deer, take the skin and then put it.
yeah, correct. Yeah,
That means that
it is not
it's like
recommending that.
promoting
Okay.
killing an animal.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. See, it is not recommending to kill the animal for sure, okay, but the dead animal like obviously the dead deer skin would be like okay, would be can be reused, okay. That is point number one. Point number two, many a time while they do like a sacrifice, it is not for their own sense pleasure, like even in shastra, the animal sacrifice been recommended not to have the sense pleasure. It is not, okay, I will sacrifice this animal so that I can eat that animal. I can eat that flesh of that animal. No, it is to help that animal to prevent that life and to go back to the next life. Okay, that is what the prescribed way of like a animal sacrifices. It is very detailed and like a very debatable topic, but that animal sacrifice will ensure that that animal should not suffer in that particular life with that particular body. It will be agreed like okay, mutually for that animal to go back to the next level of species. Okay. For example, human species is the topmost among 84 lakh species, correct? For a ant,
Hmm.
the next species may be like okay, it may come as a aquatic animal, or it may come as like okay the a deer or like a dog or likewise. So the graduation like the elevation would be decided for each and every living entity. On that basis animal sacrifices recommended or approved in the Shastra, not for like okay one's own sense pleasure. Okay, if I do animal sacrifice, I will get better job or like a better increment. In that manner, animal sacrifice is never recommended. Animal sacrifice is recommended only for that particular living entity's upliftment from the current position to the next position. Okay, understood, Prabhu?
Okay, okay.
Good question. Yeah. So the yogi should sit on it like a very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities. So, kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmanava prakrite svavad karomi yadyet sakalam parasmai narayanayati samarpayami. So that is what kayena vacha. Kayena means like okay, our bodily activity. Vacha means our words. Okay, kayana vacha. Mana means like okay, mind. And indriya means senses. Okay, then manasendriyeva buddhyatmava. Buddhyatmava also like a mind and intelligence will come. Buddhyatmava karomi adyat. Whatever activity I do, karomi adyat sagalam parasmai narayana iti samarpyami. I am surrendering to Narayana. Okay, so that is what it is, mind, sense, and activities, and fixing the mind on one point. Okay, we have to, that's what dedicate our all the mind, intelligence, and activity, everything we have to surrender to the supreme one point. Okay, so what are the sitting places of lust, greed, and anger?
So mind and intelligence.
Mind, intelligence, and senses. Okay, so when we are engaging all these mind, intelligence, senses towards the supreme, then we don't get any lusty desire, we don't get any like okay the greeds, and we don't get any anger. Okay, so that is the reason the sadhus are like a very very calm in mind. Whatever happens in and around them, they don't get like a deviated, or they don't get like okay boggled down. So they always will be in a self-satisfied sita prajna state. Okay, any doubts?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah. 13, 14. Samam kaya siro grivam darayan achalam stiraha samprekshya nasigagram swam disas chanavalokkyayan prasanna prasantatma vigadabir ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो युक्त आसित मत्परः. Matparaha. Okay, it will come one another place. Okay, Matparaha means it is, Mat means me. Who is talking about all these sloka? Krishna. Okay. Paraha means ultimate goal. What is our goal? What is our para? Okay. So one should hold one's body, neck, and head. Body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. So in the yoga, they will say, okay, sit straight and hold your body, neck, and head erect in a very straight line and stare steadily at the tip of a nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me. Me means who's here? Me meant
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna. Very good. Within the heart, okay? And make me the ultimate goal of life. Mat paraha. So, what is our ultimate goal of life? Remembering Krishna and never forget Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of life. Okay. So, what are the position? This Ashtanga Yoga. In this manner, okay, we have to remember the Lord or connect with the Lord. Okay. So that is what been explained in this sloka. So probably Neeraja Mataji can explain because uh, she's going to like the art of living also. So please explain. Now the Zoom connection will end and please rejoin immediately. Maji, you can explain like whatever been said over here. It is what been explained in the Ashtanga Yoga also, correct? Your art of living classes. Hello.
Hello, hi. Sorry, I missed the question.
No, no, whatever been said here, like the similar thing only will be explained in your classes also, correct? Like in the yoga
To
classes.
focus the breath and everything. Yes, more or less. It is also primarily focusing on the breath and it is like a sequential how you have to do it. So that yeah, primarily even all these exercises that we speak of, they're all uh,
Yeah, you can explain, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Yeah, they all these breath, all these meditation or anything. It is primarily it boils down to focusing on your breath.
yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah,
So it's the same thing. So what you just mentioned, like how you focus on the tip of your nose when you're breathing in or breathing out, it is pretty much the same that has been told also.
yeah, okay, yeah. So that is, we have to focus, like, and that is the ultimate goal of life. Okay. The 6.15, Yunjanevam Sadatmanam Yohi Niyata Manasaha Shantim Nirvana Paramam Matsamstam Adhigachati. Adhigachati means we already seen like it is does attain. Thus practicing like a constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. So by doing all this like in a regulated manner, one get a chance to go back to the spiritual world, okay, from this material existence. Okay. The next sloka, just want to see 32. Where is a big this one. Natya asnatas tuyohosti na chaikantam anasnataka na chati swapnasil silasya jagrato naiva charjuna. There is no possibility of once becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So we can never become a yogi if we are eating too much or like eating very less, sleeping too much or like sleeping very less. So we all want to practice which yoga? We all want to be like a which yogi? Karma yoga or like a bhakti yoga or jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. Ashtanga yoga, which yoga preferred for this particular yuga?
Bhakti yoga.
Very good. Okay, very good. The yuga which we are in, which yuga we are?
Kali Yuga.
Kali
Kali
yoga.
Yuga, correct. For Kali Yuga, it is prescribed as like the Lord's holy name chanting, Nama Sankirtana Yajna, correct? That is what we have to practice. The Bhakti Yoga, easiest process to practice in this Bhakti Yoga, like in this Kali Yuga, then we can reach the Lord. Okay, that is what we have to do. The 17th sloka. युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेतस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नवदोषस्य योहो भवति दुःखः. This is very, very important sloka. He who is regulated in his habit of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Okay. So, this is what we have to do. We should not eat too much. We should not sleep too much. We should not recreate too much, and we should not work also too much. It has to be a mitigated. It has to be like a very balanced effect. We have to do yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu yukta swapna vadodasya yoho bhavati dukkha. So if we are doing in that manner, he don't need to worry and he will be a perfect yogi. Okay, by practicing the yoga system. This is what been mentioned here. Any doubts till now? So, meditation is the advanced stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. So, this is what he has to go to a secluded place. Okay. So, if you see the seat is not neither too high or not too low. Okay. He is sitting on the kusa grass and that may not be a very visible, but that is how it has to be done. So this is what the 8 Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So in the Yama, it is 5 restraints. Okay, he has to uh, control, which is non-hurting. He should not lie. He should not hurt anyone. He should not steal, and he has to be a controlling. The sense control has to be there. Then aparigraha, where non-possessiveness. He should not possess anything. This is 5 things which he has to control. Then niyama, 5 things he has to practice, which is saucha, purity, contentment, santosha, whatever he is happy within himself. Then tapas, austerity. Then swadhyaya, a study. Then ishvara pranidhana, which is surrender. He has to surrender. Then asana, what he has to do, the poses where he has to sit in a right position. Then pranayama, we have how to control our breath, that is what pranayama, prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana, where internally how the airs are flowing. Prana means in one position, apana means in one position, likewise. Okay. Then pratyahara means withdrawal of the senses. Then dharana means a concentration. He has to concentrate on the supreme, not any other thing. Then dhyana, then only he is eligible to do the meditation. Then he can go attain the samadhi state where he can have the spiritual absorption. So one must be free of possessiveness and material desires, to practice Ashtanga Yoga. So this is what like the Yunjita Satatam, the translation should always engage his mind, the sense like self, body into the supreme. Okay, then he will be free from desires and feelings of like a possessiveness. Then there is like a Yukta Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya is there. Yukta Vairagya is like a proper renunciation. Falgu Vairagya means like a improper. There are some bogi yogis, okay, who will be afraid of like doing anything in this material world. So for that reason, he will go to sannyasa. He don't want to suffer anything. He don't want to have like any kind of hurt to his body, or like he don't want to put his effort. For that reason, they will go as like, okay, I am the sannyasi. Please come and like, okay, take a blessing from me. That is the false bogi yogi. Okay, we should never be go to them because they are like materially motivated. Okay, that describes of the manner of sitting also like been explained here, where how it is one should go to the secluded place. Uh, then he should be like okay, sit in a very firmly position. He should be situated in a sacred place. The seats would be like a neither too high or like a too low. Then it has to cover with a deer skin and like a soft cloth, and should lay pusa grass on the ground. Okay, so that is the reason like all these places in this current Kali Yuga, we may never be able to have this place because every place is like becoming a modernization, and it becomes like okay, a lot of city and other thing. So that is the reason like the Sankirtana Yajna, holy name, chanting the holy name of the Lord, like been prescribed in this Kali Yuga. Then 13 to 14, like I describe how to meditate. One should hold his body, neck, and head is erect in a straight line, and stare steadily at the tip of the nose, and with an unagitated, subdued mind. He has to like he should not have any fear. He should be completely devoid of like a sex life. Then meditate upon me, like okay. So how he is meditating the Paramatma? Who is that Paramatma? Which Vishnu? Light of
Oh, Shirodaksha Vishnu.
Hirodarshan.
Sai Vishnu, yeah, correct. So he will he had to meditate upon that Vishnu, and he will be making okay, remembering him as the ultimate goal of life. Okay, so that is important. Um, then in the 15th sloka, Krishna described the goal of Ashtanga Yoga as the attainment of the kingdom of God. Okay, he has to cessate or prevent all the material desires, and he has to think about the Lord like he has a goal of life. So Paramdama, Paramampama, okay, that place is never illuminated by lights because it is always like illuminated by the Lord's beauty. Okay, Taddama Paramam Mama. Okay, that supreme abode is like a very, very beautiful and bright. See, another thing, like it is the goal of Ashtanga Yoga is to connect to the Lord, connect to the Supreme, not for okay any health benefits. Okay, I am having a very stressful life, so I have to go for like okay yoga just to get stress, get out of the stress. No, that is not the purpose of yoga. Okay, the purpose of yoga is to go back to the spiritual world by cessating all the material necessities of life. Okay, it may okay. The some may go yoga as like a gymnastic thing, or they want to have like a I want to show I am the master of like okay controlling my mind, sense, and intelligence. For that reason, I am becoming like a yogi. No, that is not at all preferred. That is not at all suggested in the Shastra. Shastra says very, very clearly we have to perform the yoga only to connect to the Lord and to go back to the Supreme. Because yoga's main thing, Yama itself, like he's saying, not possessive of anything, correct? We should restrict the possessiveness. The 1617, okay, obstacles in progress for aspiring yogi or unregulated lifestyle. So the eating, sleeping, and recreation and work has to be controlled. Okay, if it is in unregulated manner, then you can never become a yogi. You can never practice the Ashtanga yoga. Okay, the eating, mating, uh, sleeping, and the work has to be like in a very, very regulated manner. Okay, so yogis should eat what is available, what is necessary, like to keep their body up and running. They will not like have so much sensual pleasure. If you see in Vrindavan, if you go like all the sannyasin and yogis, they may mix all the things like rice, chapati, roti, dal, sweet, curd, every thing they will mix and eat because they don't want to have the sense attraction or like a senses engagement. They just eat that to keep their body up and running. That's all. They are not eating, okay, this is very sweet and this has a good salt or less salt, okay, I will not eat. No, then we are getting addicted to the senses. We should eat like, okay, the prasadam which is offered to Lord as a bhoga, and we have to take that as a prasadam, like hey, not for our sense pleasure. Okay, I like this food, I don't like this one, so I will not eat this, even though it is a prasadam. No, that has not been prescribed or suggested in the Shastra. That is what like they are saying. Ahara means like a very, very, that is not the purpose of life. Eating is not our purpose of life. Eating we are doing so that we can keep our body up and running. The similar manner, work and recreation. It has to be like it has to be only for Krishna and to keep their devotees up and running. Correct? No, not for any desire sense gratification. Then sleeping like we have to take a 5 or 6 hours sleep in a night. Like a not okay. I night I will watch the movie and daytime I will sleep like 8 hours. No, that is not preferred. That is not suggested. You need to do like okay the sleep in the night properly. Then during the daytime you have to engage in the devotional service. Then what has been explained like in the Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, comparing like a principle is in the Ashtanga Yoga, like a constantly engage body and mind, the self in relationship with the Supreme, and Bhakti Yoga also similar thing, like okay, um, relationship with the Supreme also similar thing. Place of practice. In the Ashtanga Yoga, it is like okay, live alone in a secluded place, but in devotee, like a stays with good association and like a perform the Bhakti Yoga. Then why we are they are saying go to secluded place because to avoid the disturbance of external object. Mind control first business of any transcendentalist struggles hard to fix the mind on the super soul because you need to do yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dana dharana, then you will reach the samadhi state. But in bhakti yoga, devotee always think about Krishna and he will never forget about Krishna. Then consciousness free of desire and possessiveness, prerequisite. Like we seen, like we should not have any desire, we should not possess anything. Then only we can practice Ashtanga Yoga. But in Krishna consciousness, directly we are thinking everything is like a belong to Krishna, and I am just doing like a on his direction. Okay. Then manner of sitting also, then celibacy, like a fearlessness, object of meditation, goal of life, ultimate goal of practice, like all these things been explained here. Then regulation in lifestyle, how to eat, sleep, regulated in work and creation also, recreation also. Okay, so please go through this in detail. Then you will be able to understand. I don't think we covered the 18 until 17 only we covered, correct? Yeah, 17 sloka. So with this, I will stop here. So please, like, let me know if any questions or any feedback or any suggestion. Hare Krishna. Okay, fine. Silence means I will take it as like everyone understood. Let me stop sharing. Stop.